Okay, so good afternoon. So we are Group 5, and today we will be talking about the operation management of a barbershop in Hong Kong. And my name is Brian.
And my name is Horace.
I'm Alan.
I'm May.
Okay, so for this video presentation, we will be presenting some of our process diagram of the barbershop in Hong Kong, followed by some of the key assumptions related to that.
And also an bottleneck analysis.
Adding on to that, we're going to talk about the quality management as well as the product process matrix.
In addition to that, I will talk about improvements for the operation management of the barber's place.
Yeah, and last but not least, we're going to conclude all the video presentation. So let's get started.
So now allow me to go through the process diagram we have prepared for a normal barbershop in Hong Kong. So basically we think that there are three kinds of customer requests in a barbershop. So when we follow the red arrow, which is the customer coming for all sorts of services. So firstly they arrive at the reception, and then they will go to hair wash by their assistant. Then they go for dye and perm, following by haircut and drying. And at last, they will go for settling the payment. These are the most full package service that barbershop could have. And secondly, we think that the customer might also come for haircut and wash. So they arrive at the reception, they go for hair wash by the assistant again, and then they directly go to haircut, drying, and then settling the payment. This is the second kind of service a customer might request. And thirdly, the customer might just come for a hair wash. So, say for example, some tie or some auntie would just come there. Would just go to the barbershop on the weekend and do the hair wash. So, what they do is to arrive at the reception again, and then they directly go to the hair wash. Then they go to drying there. They go for drying their hair, following by settling the payment. So these three different combinations can actually bring a lot of variations in a barbershop's operation. And I'm also going to talk about the key assumption we have right here. So basically, for A, B, C, D, and E are the specialists that are responsible for a certain task in a barbershop's process diagram. So when we look at perm and dye machine, so we assume that we only have one machine in the barbershop. Secondly, perm and dye stylist, as well as the haircut stylist, they're actually the people who are specializing in this task, so they could not help each other. And thirdly, the assistant is responsible for washing the hair, and the store manager is responsible for taking the guests to their seats and receiving the payments. So again, our key assumption would be specialization between the stylists. So they at the current stage they couldn't really help each other when they are hitting the bottleneck. Secondly, the process time is the average of large scale of small barbershops around Hong Kong, China, and Taiwan. So basically we did some survey back home, and we did some survey here in Hong Kong as well. So we did the overall processing time in barbershops in these three places, and we find a similar result. Thirdly, the process time is a weighted average of male and female customers. So we did a little bit survey on HKUST, and we find that the average time and for haircut and different dye and perm services could vary, so that we used a weighted average to deal with this problem in order to facilitate a better understanding of this project.
Analyzing from the process diagram, we could divide the bottleneck analysis into three different kinds of customer services: full services, haircut and wash, and also wash-only requests. First of all, let me talk about the full services. The total throughput time was estimated around 197 minutes, with the bottleneck being the dye and perm process. So if two customers are requesting for such services, the second one will have to wait at least 120 minutes to have his or her request fulfilled, which in turn lowering other major process utilization rate to around 12.5%. It is due to the lack of machines, and also the nature of dye and perm process is rather time consuming. Therefore, when there is a short notice from a random customer, the system capacity will reach its limit very easily. Next, it comes to the haircut and wash service. Its throughput time is around 77 minutes, which is only 40% of the full surfaces. The bottleneck is the haircut process, which takes up more than 50% of the throughput time. The reason is being that customers tend to be indecisive on what hairstyle they want to have, which could take up as much as 15% of haircut time. Last but not least, some customers may request only for washing and drying. The process or utilization rate of both steps are relatively higher than other requests, with the bottleneck and system capacity being the drying process, which accounts for 20 minutes. With this bottleneck identified, we may then come up with suggestions to reduce service time of these processes, and in turn improve the quality of the whole process.
So adding on to Horace's bottleneck analysis, now I'm going to talk about the quality management or the barbershop in Hong Kong. So in terms of quality management, barbershops they make a more special case due to its nature of high customization for most of the customers. And there are two ways that a normal salon is using to control its quality. Internally, it is through the training that senior stylists will provide the juniors to learn more skills and to conform a better and consistent quality. Externally, the stylist will communicate with the customer on what style they want, or through magazines, on online images, or just oral communication with the customers. So in addition to the practices they have right now, the common quality parameters are responsiveness, professionalism, credibility, efficiency, effectiveness, and customer knowledge. And we would like to approach this quality management discussion through a more special way. So we assume that the customer frequent the same store for multiple times over a time span, maybe a year. So a customer might visit a barbershop for 10 times, and which is very common for all of us regardless of genders. Namely, we look at the customer's haircut experience in the same store for a period of time so as to see whether the quality is conforming with each other. So on average, male customers frequent 6 to 10 times, whereas female frequents 4 to 6 times. Among these visits, we could observe that these performance quality varies in accordance with the time they spend in salon. So if the stylist is spending more time on their hair, it is possible and it is positively correlated to the final performance quality. On the other hand, the conformance quality of the customer experience is normally more variable for males and less for females. So for males, basically our hairstyle are rather simple, and our hair length is normally shorter than the female. So the rationale behind is that the shorter the hair, the easier the difference can be observed. Yet in general, the conformance quality has been stable for senior stylists and less stable for juniors and rookies. And May will be talking about how we better improve the conformance quality as well as the performance quality. In addition to the quality management, product process metrics we have here shows that there are three kinds of barbershops in Hong Kong: boutique, normal, and quick cuts. For normal barbershops, they tend to follow the worker pace line, where the operation is similar to the batch process, and the services provided by them is sufficient, but not all services inclusive. On the other hand, the quick cuts such as QB House and GT in Hong Kong, they tend to follow a machine line process with a very focused strategy. They simply cut. And they're applying a smart sacrifice concepts, giving a complex value chain to provide quicker service with a lower cost. On the other end of the spectrum, the barber shops at the top left-hand corner are the ones with high-end supreme services with all the customized services one could expect. And in this regard, one barber may take care of all the services his or her customer requests. Therefore, it is more similar to job shop processes. And we could see that, so for the first one, this is interior of Alchemy Hong Kong. So this is one of the most expensive barbershops in Hong Kong. And we could see they have a high ambience Normally, you would need to pay from 450 to 2,500 for a simply cut. Whereas for QB House, they do this smart sacrifice. So we could see that the store is still clean, but they only provide 10 minutes just cut. So they wouldn't provide all sorts of services you could expect, but they provide a clean space with a very efficient manner. So these two are just the examples at the end of the spectrum we have right here. And the majorities of the barber shops are actually lying in the middle, so like Mina de Vuel or other normal barber shops we could see back home or in Hong Kong. And now let's welcome May to tell us more about how we're proposing the potential improvements for a barbershop in Hong Kong.
From what we have discussed above, we have developed a few solutions to improve the barbershop's daily operation. Firstly, to tackle the problem of time-consuming dyeing and perm, we recommend the barbershop establish a booking system on perm and dye surveys to match the supply and demand. Moreover, it would be beneficial to invest in more machines when there is a large demand. Secondly, when it comes to simple haircut and wash, we propose the barbershop could develop a system of mobile applications to allow consumers to choose what they want. Based on our estimation, this could significantly reduce the service time by 10%. And for hair wash services, we recommend the business could be temporarily stopped in peak hours. So the hairstylist could focus on haircut, dye, and perm. In addition, to improve quality control, every barbershop should find their positions in the market and establish their own service metrics to communicate with consumers. For example, the quality matrix in a quick cut is convenient and quick, so the queuing time is more important for consumers. On the other hand, the high-end barbers need to ensure the quality of the service. By establishing standards and positioning, the barbershops are able to maintain high level of conformance quality as well as performance quality. Last but not least, in general, we think the barbershops could introduce more value-added service in non-value-added waiting time. For example, providing massage, a Wi-Fi connection to distract consumers, to keep them busy at waiting time, to reduce their dissatisfaction.
So after our magical slides, we have identified the situations of operation management in the barbershops in Hong Kong, including the bottleneck analysis, quality management, and product process metrics, which is like a tongue twister. And we have proposed some improvements. So we believe that by implementing these improvements, any barbershops in Hong Kong would be able to enjoy a better efficiency on their operation, as well as a better user experience in the future. Thank you very much. This is in our presentation.
拜拜啦，
감사합니다.
再见，
谢谢。
洗涤精。
谢谢。